Who would bring together a group consisting of a highly recognized leadership development consultant, an accomplished optometrist, the CEO of a nationally renowned travel company, and a professional actor-singer? The answer? Luke Funk. Much can be said about Luke Funk, and all of it would be kind. He was born on a farm in northwestern Indiana, number 10 of 11 children. Outside of his duties on the farm as a young man, and eventually in various sales roles, he was an inventor. And although he never took a single course in music, he was a songwriter. The latter was what brought the aforementioned group together in 2024. They embarked together on a project to re-record two of the songs composed by Luke in the mid-1940s, when he was in his early 20s, and released them again to the world. As they worked on the project, they realized that the story here is more than the songs. It's the history of the Funk family in Indiana, the close relationship of Luke, and in particular with two of his other siblings, Paul and Kathleen, the setting and inspiration of the songs, the time in which they were written, and the families that grew out of the love of Luke and his wife, Pat. This story will be told here by the four gentlemen who came together with the common goal of connecting the past and present by bringing to life again these two great songs. Jim Funk, guitarist, and Tom Funk, bass player, are two of Luke and Pat's sons. Steve Perillo, arranger and pianist, is the son of Kathleen Perillo, Luke's youngest sister. Robbie Steiner, singer and actor, is the son of Luke and Pat's daughter, Ann. The first song, written, copyrighted, and published in 1944, was There's a Place for You and Me, back home in Indiana. Luke collaborated on this composition with his brother Paul, the next oldest in the family. Luke came up with the melody and lyrics, sang it for Paul, the concert pianist, who then wrote the piano part and arrangement. The second song, Your Eyes Are Blue, was written and copyrighted by Luke in 1945, again with Paul assisting on piano. All of this was happening in the shadow of World War II. Luke knew he would be enlisting in the Navy in the spring of 1945, and this project must have motivated him to write a nostalgic song about his home state. As far as a song about a beautiful lady with blue eyes, she was to come into his life in 1949 when he married Pat Stapleton of Indianapolis. Luke used to sing around the house a lot. What do you think music meant to him, and did he ever sing the songs he wrote?
Luke did sing around the house a lot. Music meant a lot to him. He grew up with it, in fact. He didn't play an instrument except briefly as a young man. He played the trumpet, I guess. And he quickly started in the attic. And just, so it changed in that the instrument was his voice. He continued singing just anytime. He just did it unconsciously. And at the same time, at home, his brother Paul had a real talent for the piano. They had it right in the parlor where the Philco was, but his mother was the one that prompted buying the piano. And they had that before the Depression hit. There wouldn't be time for money for a piano in those days. But there it was, and Paul sat down and started tinkering with it, and turned out he had a definite talent for it.
In the Edward J. and Jenny Funk family, with 11 kids in the early 20th century, it was a very interesting time, and the family dynamics were very interesting in the way it all played out to allow Kathleen and Luke and Paul, who were the three youngest, to have some great opportunities. You know, the farm family was just trying to basically get through, which a lot of the older kids were, at this time in their lives, were experiencing. But in their young 20s, then coming out of the Depression and the family and the farm becoming financially successful, gave them some special opportunities. One of those was Paul's being able to study at the IU School of Music and really, develop his talent. Another was Kathleen's going on the big pilgrimage to Rome for the Grand Jubilee in 1950. That couldn't have been done before. And of course, that's where she met her future husband. They fell in love. And they had Steve. Steve ended up, being a big important part of this project, reuniting of the families, and that's been fantastic.
Because Steve Perillo lives in New Jersey, the four started the project together with Zoom calls to talk about what they could actually pull off, or if this would come together at all.
These two songs, started with a dinner we had at my sister's house with my cousin Jim Funk.
We envisioned maybe re-recording these songs. We didn't know how we would do it or what they would sound like or how they would be arranged or who would be involved. We just had the idea of doing it and then very quickly realized we needed people to help us with that.
There are two songs that his father wrote that I had never heard about. And he said, there's two songs. I even have a recording from the 40s of it. So Jim sent the recordings to me and the sheet music, and it was published. And they were attempting to roll it out as a hit song in the 40s, which it could have been. So I get the recording, and it seems like it's in a room with one microphone, piano, and singer, and that's it. I don't know how they did it. They probably paid a little money, but it was one mic and a vinyl cutter, and then they make copies of the vinyl, and that's how they did it in those days. And what you're left with is a 78 that's very staticky and clicky, and you couldn't hear the piano part hardly at all.
At least we did have that so that we could, get an idea of what the songs were meant to be, what they were written to be, and then we could kind of take it from there, which we did. We asked Robbie Steiner, our nephew and a professional singer-actor, to get involved, and he was happy to do that and excited to be a part of the project.
If it wasn't for Robbie, I don't see how we would have gotten this off the ground. He's the key element. We would have hired someone. I don't know if we would have proceeded without Robbie being in the family.
And then my brother Tom is a bass player, so that fit the bill for putting the bottom on the songs. And Robbie knew enough studio musicians and a studio in Louisville where we could record and fill it out. So it began to fill out as we had our Zoom sessions to talk about the project and to discuss, how would this work and what do we need to do to pull it off and can we even pull it off, and those kinds of discussions.
But they're good songs, and partly in the style of the 40s. Your Eyes Are Blue is in a swing style, and the other one, Indiana's, in a ballad style with patriotic and religious aspects to it.
Wasn't there a particular line in the original recording, Edna Odell's recording, where she said, had an error in there about your lips being blue, and that needed to be corrected?
You mean the original recording? She sings, "Your lips are blue"?
Yes.
I think it's
Is that a fact?
I think she says your eyes are blue and your lips are too.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, instead it should be your lips are green? What's the
your lips
problem?
are true.
True.
We had to fix that.
It was fun to be able to take our knowledge of what the original intentions were of the songs, and I think we did a good job of we were very intentional about honoring those original intentions while still creating a new take on each of them.
Well, it was clear that we needed to rehearse the songs prior to just walking right into the studio as if we could just do this thing, without practicing together. We needed to convince ourselves that it would actually work. And I think there was a point where
We never played together, right?
No,
So
no,
we
exactly.
didn't know. I didn't know if I could play the songs on the piano.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
practiced a tremendous amount, a whopping amount of hours to
Same,
play
same,
that. To
yes.
play that, because I'm a travel agent. I'm not a piano player.
Yeah, yeah.
So what
And,
happened?
well, there was a point where early on in the practice, almost right away, you said, "This is going to work," and it's like, yeah, it is.
Robbie Steiner had recorded one of his CDs at DSL Studios in Louisville under the expert engineering of Mike Baker, so the group decided to record there in May 2024, 2 weeks after their rehearsal, during which they learned they could in fact perform the new versions of the songs, along with some studio musicians to play the additional instrumentation and choral backgrounds arranged by Steve.
Well, as a kid, I remember my grandpa always going around the house singing all the time. He'd always be humming a tune. He had this beautiful kind of gravelly tenor voice that I just loved listening to. So it means a lot to get to take those pieces and to get to put my own spin on them and bring my voice to them.
While we were recording in the studio, and especially during some of the playback moments after we had actually made the recordings, and were there with the engineer Mike, who was doing a great job crafting it all, it was just inescapable to have that feeling of the presence of Luke, Paul, and Kathleen being there with us.
Besides the original score, the group used the 1945 recordings of the songs by singer Edna Odell to consider factors such as tempo, style, and how to lengthen the songs to 3 minutes each from the original recordings that were each a minute and a half. Steve said at one point he hoped we would not change the songs too dramatically from the original, but while the new recordings turned out to be done on a grander scale with a full studio arrangement, they do still retain the feel of 1940s tunes.
Please say for me that memory you promised by the apple tree. There's a place for you and me back home in Indiana. We'll raise a great big family in the old community. Then the home folks will agree. Back home in Indiana.
Please say for me that memory you promised by the apple tree. There's a place for you and me back home in Indiana. I see the Wabash River flowing. I feel the prairie winds are blowing. I have a certain way of knowing that the one I love will be waiting there for me. We'll raise a great big family in the old community. Then the home folks will agree. Back home in Indiana.
Your eyes are blue and your lips are too. Your smile is too, and I love you. Till we meet again, I'll have dreams anew. I won't pretend, 'cause I love you.
Your eyes are blue and your lips are true. Your smile is too, and I love you. Till we meet again, I'll have dreams anew.
this was my first time doing any kind of music video. I don't have much experience on the film side of things. I'm a stage performer, so it was really fun to get to do my first music videos at a very comfortable location. This farmhouse that my grandfather grew up in, and the farm that the Funks that they lived on back in the day. And there are so many stories, and there's so much that I've heard about that place over the years and throughout my lifetime. So it was very exciting to get to be in that particular place, and it felt very homey and very comfortable. I had no idea we would get to record inside the house, and that the house would be so well preserved. The folks that live there now, who were just wonderfully hospitable, have this great reverence for our family and the folks that lived there before them and built the house, and so it was a real treat to get to sort of create and play in that space and feel very connected to those who have gone before me.
And even the way you dressed for the music videos, for example, was meant to make the person watching it feel like, hey, I'm back in the 1940s.
Yeah.
I'm enchanted by the 40s because it was a horrible time, but it was one of the best times to be an American. It congealed all of America together under one thing. It's never been like that since or probably before. How everyone was together in this country in the 40s, that's what I miss. That's why I like to relive those days.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was a magical element to it, for sure. And in addition to that, the farm family, to me, it was sort of an idyllic environment, huge, 11 kids, mom and dad, and just all growing up and then dispersing, ambitious and wanting to sort of take on the world and enjoy the world.
For the group of four guys, actually family members who came together to bring this project to life, the connection with their family heritage, the music that had been passed down and retained for 80 years since the time they were written, meant a great deal.
This project was challenging, and the number one thing for the life of an artist is that it won't be good. So that's the number one thing. This is going to be terrible. Besides that, it was mainly fun. It was just fun, because they're simple songs, they're well constructed, and you can do so many things with them. So it was a matter of picking the style of each song. One was Your Eyes Are Blue, which was in 6/8 time, and that really wanted to be a swing song. So that was obvious. And it got me into my syncopations, which is something I have not done that much, but I learned to play off the beat a lot more in that song, and I think it helps perk it up. And then Indiana was like a symphony. It's like maybe too much of a symphony with the Here Is a Prayer for a Boy Over There, from a boy over there. And so that became a choir, obviously. Here Is a Prayer, a church choir. And then the chords are just so beautiful, and it's so obvious. The bass lines are obvious, the chords are obvious, the connections and the transitions are obvious. Just a well-written song, and I think Uncle Luke wrote this song just singing it. I don't know if he knew about chords. I think Uncle Paul came up with the chords, but they're obvious. He was a natural songwriter, and he should have written 100 more songs. And that's the shame of it, really.
When I ask myself, so why am I even doing this? What do I hope comes of it? Part of it is just putting it out there for the greater funk diaspora that's just out there, who I think would really get a kick out of knowing what Uncle Luke did.
For me, it's been much more about the excitement of the creative process and getting to breathe some new life into these songs. And I hope other people will find them as meaningful and enjoyable as we have.
Because somewhere along the line, after we recorded them, Steve said, we really should make music videos out of these. And so one thing led to another, and we talked about, well, where do we do it? Let's do it on location. And so now we're talking about how to release these music videos, and there's even a story to tell here about this whole project that we thought, well, let's make this into a documentary.
It's been really exciting to me to get to combine two generations here with a third generation of the writers, and to be able to collaborate across those generations of our family. And even me and Jim and Tom are quite close because we all live in Indiana, but Steve, you're out in New Jersey, and so getting to communicate and collaborate across a few states and bring everybody together for this experience, for me, has been a lot of fun. That's the collaboration. I think what's exciting to me is that we've created something here that no one of us could have done on our own. And really, even, Grandpa and Uncle Paul maybe wouldn't have had some of the same ideas that we've had. So getting to take what they started and bring it all together with all four of us has been really, really fun to me. I think that's been the most exciting thing to me.
I was separated from you guys by the death of my mother when I was very, very young, and the geographical distance. So this is an important part of my family. It's half of my family. I'm a half funk. So this was a great opportunity to get to meet you guys and your families in the last year. And it's been a year, right, since we've been working on this project. It took a year.
Getting close.
Yeah.
And really, I hadn't seen you, Steve, for 25 years.
That's right.
Before we met again last year and started talking about doing this project.
Yeah.
So
I remember on our first Zoom call, Steve, you didn't realize initially that I was a funk, that I was part of the family.
Yeah, who is this guy?
Yeah, they slipped you in there.
That's right.
We've captured at least those three, again, Luke, Paul, and Kathleen.
those three were, the last three of the 11 kids. And so I think there seemed to be a special bond, among the three of them. And so in a sense, we represent that. Paul didn't have any kids. He wasn't married. And so, he brought the music to life. And then the three in the relationship, I think, really supported each other as the last three in the tribe. And they were close. Kathleen and Luke especially were very close. And so it was a big loss to him when she passed away at 32 years old. But I think this does bring back the relationship that those three had for us to all work together on this project. What do you think of this project to re-record these songs after 80 years? And what do you think Luke would think of it?
I think Luke would really be thrilled and excited about having his music out there, because, as I said before, it came from his heart, and it meant a lot to him. It wasn't just something silly like the kind of things you hear on now. This he was talking about his life in a way. And so now it's coming out in an interesting way that he never would have expected. When he composed these things, he was just singing what he was feeling, I think. And to have somebody else appreciate it, I think would really please him.
In celebrating Luke's 90th birthday, his sons and daughter brought out the original scores of these songs and learned them as they were written and performed them for him. The love of Luke and Pat, the girl with blue eyes who he was married to for 66 years, shone through at the 90th birthday party when Luke opened his family gift of a book telling the story of his life. Luke lived another 2 years, and when he was in the hospital dying, his children, plus most of his grandchildren, were at his hospital bedside. The attending chaplain said he had never witnessed such a peaceful death with his family all around him. And after his last breath, the family sung in unison from memory, "There's a place for you and me back home in Indiana." When Luke originally wrote that song, along with "Your Eyes Are Blue," They were very good songs. They reflected the feelings of a man holding on to goodness at a time when the world was falling apart. But now, they're absolutely great songs, encapsulating improved musical know-how 80 years later by a new generation of talent looking back at a man they deeply loved.
Once again, when we are free, there's a place for you and me back home.